Oh my word. Well, welcome, lords, ladies, and NB babies, to Bad Pachimari League Season 8. It has been a squelcher out there today, but let me tell you, it is just heating up here in the B tier as we got Bluerose versus Nightwings. I am, of course, the Captain Jack, joined by Laser here to my left. How you doing tonight, Laser?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to see this match. I think it's going to be a barnstormer. I think it's going to be a great match. Both of these teams coming in off of, obviously, a pretty good playoff run so far. Obviously, they're still alive. Could be worse. So I think we'll have a couple good rounds. A couple good rounds ahead of us.
Well, let's take a look and see where these teams made their way through here. As we go ahead and bring up the bracket, both teams, looks like Nightwings actually struggling a little bit as I now hear myself through the mainstream because I got that up to see the lovely chat. But as we see, Nightwings having to do the play-ins there to get in, struggled a little bit to get here, but they have made their way very far into the lower round two, the lower quarterfinals, if it were to face off against Bluerose. But Bluerose sitting pretty high, getting taken down by Hidden King during the upper semi-finals. So I'm excited. I have not gotten to cast B tier yet, so I'm excited to see how these teams perform this evening.
Yeah, B League's always a pretty fun way to watch. You get some of the action of A League, or the player potential of A League, as well as some of the funnier moments that you get with lower tier players. I think both of these teams have a shot at this game. Obviously, Bluerose falling to Hidden King, who I believe is the favorite of B League. I don't know if they've dropped a series yet in regular season or into the playoffs, but yeah, like you said, Nightwings struggling a little bit in the regular season, had to come in through the play-ins, got that first win, and then dropped into the lower bracket. Managed to claw their way out of lower round one, but now they are facing off against a strong Bluerose team and some returning faces here.
Yes, we got Foliage 57, Gala, Domination, Inari, Best Beans 80, and what? Well, why not indeed? Why not? We are going to be having an amazing team. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Nightwing roster as we prepare to see these two teams going at it here in the B tier. I gotta say, I love the lineup here. Of course, these are favorited heroes. Don't forget that. So we may see some Reinhardt tonight, but based on the fact that we're going to be prepping for some Demon play in the upcoming weeks, we might not be seeing much of our shielded Crusader. So what do we got here for Nightwing?
Yeah, and most of the Nightwings roster is players who have played together before on different teams. There's a lot of team synergy on Nightwings. Obviously, Cobalt and Ken, and then Starry Night have been on teams together a lot in the past. Dusttail, Cobalt, I believe we're on what was it? The Carrot team. I can't remember what the name of it is now. What's up, Doc? In the last B League, and all of these players have played together, or at least were friends in the past. So some pre-existing synergy. Ken is a rookie to BPL, one of the Goblin Barrel members with myself and Cobalt. So I know Ken pretty well. Pretty good tank player. I think this team struggled with some PC availability issues throughout the season, which may explain some of their regular season performance. But now I believe they're back at 100%, so it should be interesting to watch.
Well, that is good to see, and I will shed my Southern persona so that we can actually get into the action for tonight. As you can see, head-to-head matches across BPL kickoff tournament. Nightwings did end up taking down Bluerose, so a little bit of a rematch here as we see regular season. Bluerose ended up taking Nightwings 2-0. So it's now time to see which of these teams are going to be able to balance things out as we are looking at kind of like the map pool for these teams. Honestly, not one really a lot stronger than the other. Some wins, losses on either side, but as you said, due to the regular season having some PC issues could have added into that. So let's find out who we're going to be banning for our first set of bans. Nightwings, it looks like, has picked a first ban and will be taking away May. Very interesting pick here in B League.
Foliage is one of those players that you don't want to let them get away with a strong flex DPS pick like Mei on Li Jiang when Ken is known for their Diva, known for their Zarya, and both those characters are pretty weak into Mei if you play it correctly. So pretty strong ban from Nightwings to start. This is one of the maps or the modes that you really want to take away that Mei more than anything else. Hybrid, I believe, would be the other strong mode. So good first ban out from Nightwings, and it looks like Bluerose counterban with the Zarya, anticipating that Ken does want to play the Zarya on this map. That's why they ban out the Mei, and another strong counterban from Bluerose.
Well, we did see favorited hero of the tank of Nightwings definitely locking in that Zarya, so want to get it out early, get that early win. But I will say, looking at records, Nightwings really strong on Lijiang Tower, has a 3-1 record on that right now. So whereas for Bluerose, not, kind of here or there, some wins, some losses across the regular season and playoffs on this particular map. So I'm excited to see, without their main tank pick in the rotation, how are Nightwings going to be able to adjust and still be able to hold on to the stronghold that they have for Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, Bluerose domination is favored that Ryan character quite a bit this season. Ryan, I believe we've seen some hog out from him as well in some of these matches. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that on Lijiang Tower, given that Ryan is a favorite pick on this map, at least in the ranked ladder. Maybe not so much in pro play, but he is picked there pretty often, and it's pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, I personally love playing me some Wrecking Ball on this map. I love a little bit of dive. I had a unfortunate incident where I was doing a little spin to win on the Garden's objective specifically, and my cable ran out and shot me right out the window to my death. So, it's debatable as to whether or not you want to play that kind of comp. As we see, the teams already have selected their choices. Not Ken opting for the Ramatra as they make their way to the objective, have the Sim TP to speed on to point, but Bluerose actually going for the side room approach.
Yeah, and I think this is going to come down to whether or not Chamora can find this pre-fight and mid-fight value. Because Pharah is really uncontested outside of the Xion with Bluerose's comp, but you need to kill the backline and help your tank out before you get walked on by Ryan.
Well, they do have the Sojourn as well, so that could provide a lot of fire if they're able to catch them early. But as we see, the Vortex already finding an early pick, Domination getting taken down by the boop of Dusttail, and that is going to be it as the objective goes to Nightwing.
Yeah, clean fight out from Nightwings. Finding that first pick onto the backline is so important. Now you see Dominations and Fuchsia making swaps here. Domination over on that Hog, and I'm not really a big fan of Hog in organized play. I think it's kind of not a troll pick, but definitely underrated. And I think I think Dom has to convince me that this is a good pick into what Nightwings are playing, given how much poke and how many shields they have on that comp.
We do see Domination swapping over to the Roadhog. Very interesting choice. I guess they're hoping to be able to maybe pull Ken off the objective so that they can get that damage in. Not going to be finding what they're looking for, though. The rest of the team just not available to be able to solidify that. And Chamoran with the double kill cleans it up.
No.
Why not? They're in the side room getting staggered out. 50% in climbing for the Nightwing.
And look at those ults on the side of Nightwing. Bluerose only coming up on the Kitsune Rush to open up this fight, while Chamoran has Barrage, Starknight has the Rush to match, and has the Annihilation available, and Dusttail coming up on that beat. Tilted Waffle gonna struggle to find a little bit of value with this High Noon, given how easy it is to cancel with Hook, but I think this fight should be a cinch for the Nightwings as long as they don't get picked out early.
That is true, as we see the push into the objective, looking for that opportunity. Kitsune Rush being unleashed by Why Not, looking for that opportunity. Now responding, and Starry Night, the barrage to get hooked. The Suzu, beautiful timing, finds two Foliages, also now on that Reaper. Gonna be doling out a lot more damage on the point, 90% to the Nightwings as Bluerose takes control.
And listen, that's what you need to see if you're a Blu-rays fan. And one ult for two trade, especially given that Barrage and Rush were the ones used, that's a pretty good trade. Now you have the Mizuki ult to deny this High Noon for free, even if you don't get the hook. And Dusttail will have to beat to save his Ramatra if they don't want to pop Annihilation early.
That is true. We'll see how that works out as they go ahead and push into point. Whole Hog getting ready to come online. Dusttail falling low, opting to push the beat now, opting for the annihilation into the Kenkai Sanctuary. The Deadeye also came out, but did not hold it long enough to allow the Kenkai Sanctuary to go down. We see Nemesis form coming out once again from Knock-In, finds Fuchsia, but will get taken down by Domination. Beautiful cleanup there from Bluerose as they hold on at the 50%.
The Mizuki ult, the Sanctuary, getting all that value, denying the High Noon, helping to burn Ken and force him out to block. And Bluerose DPS just cleaning up that fight with the High Noon and with the extra picks. And off of the map.
Domination with the hook. You love to see it. As long as that boy ain't running, he's as CCable as the rest of them.
Yep, and I said on the Malga off the map. That is unfortunate, but yeah, Domination finding the value that I was looking for out of him. And oh no, Foliage. He's gonna get checked.
Yeah, but the double, looking for the triple. The cleanup, 90% and climbing. Tonight, the 4. And Bluerose struggling there at the beginning, but it looks like they're going to lock down the Gardens.
Yeah, I mean, the cat might have a touch here. Nope, never mind. Got hooked out of it. And Bluerose struggling a little bit in the beginning, like you said, but they did make some composition adjustments over to that Cassidy to mark the Pharah, over to that Roadhog to find early picks in the fight and hook the tank into unfortunate positions. And there's nothing more unfortunate than getting hooked off the map.
That is true. I'm actually a little surprised that we're not seeing the Orisa coming out. I'm guessing Ken probably just doesn't have it in the hero pool, but I mean, looking at what Bluerose is bringing to the table, that can be a huge deterrent to them. Whereas Ramatra, yeah, that block is great for eating up damage, but there's really not a lot else that you can do. You get pulled in, you get stunned out of it, you get hooked out of it, and then all it takes is Foliage, a couple of shots of those Hellfire shotguns, and you are toast. Heading into the night market now, as we see Jamoran almost able to get that pick on the Fuchsia to start things off.
Yeah, this is going to be a Ferris playground on this point. If you're able to find as much value as possible on this Pharah, then your team's going to have a much easier time holding this objective. And Tilted Waffle onto the Doge. I like it. I like the adjustment. You realize that the Hog is weak. You can build Rail off of it. There's Rail his backline while he's trying to walk forward.
Yeah, both of them are set up on the back of the beautiful shot. Jamoran ended up getting the kill with the concussion, but you gotta give it to Tilted Waffle. That was a critical railgun shot, and that is gonna go ahead and push Bluerose back. Takes Fuchsia out, and they're gonna keep cleaning it up best they can to hold on to that point.
Yeah, Fuchsia making the adjustment back over to the Sojourn. Pharah is even less contested now, with especially with the Sig swap as well. They're going all in on trying to kill and run over the backline of Nightwings before Jamoran can find that value. Because now they have nothing to mark the Pharah, they have nothing to mitigate it.
Domination now swapping over to...
I say that!
Immediately taking out Jamoran as we see the Gravitic Pulse pushing into the objective. Fuchsia able to find the trade onto Tilted Waffle. That's a 3v5 right now as we see the Nemesis form coming out to try to sustain as long as they possibly can. It wears out, and there it is, soap on the ground as Domination and Bluerose clean up the point.
Domination making me eat my words as soon as I say them. Finding a pick early on in Jamoran and denying all that value in the fight, and then loosening up the backline of Nightwing so Tilted Waffle goes down to Fuchsia's Rail. That was a massive performance out from the Sigma, building 70% on his ult in just that fight.
That is true. Railgun overclocked right now as they're looking for the shot, seeing if they can take Sigma out of the fight. Gets rocked, gets taken out. The Kenkai Sanctuary is there to sustain as we see Domination almost up to that Gravitic Flux. Right now, Dusttail trying to survive, but it's just not enough. Jamoran now swapping over to the Tracer to see if they can find some value on the ground.
I think this fight is going to be a tale of two rushes, where if you find value with your Kitsune rush and make sure that your team follows up on it, you're going to be able to find some value. But 4-man, 3-man flux on the backline.
And the beat's just not there. Oh, the beat was there, but they're not going to invest it to be able to push in. It looks like that Suzu was just enough. Blossom is online as we see the Kitsune rush coming out, countered by the Annihilation, going incredibly low, gets taken out by Foliage. 69% and climbing for the Nightwings as they take the point for just a moment. But a Starry Night is sent back to spawn by Bluerose.
And that is a key flip that Nightwings got in that mid-fight, because it means that they don't have to rush this touch anymore. They can use a little bit more time and get set up, potentially put your Tracer on the off angle, force out Suzu, do all that pre-fight prep that you would not have gotten if you haven't gotten that flip. And Foliage looking for a TP Blossom? No, just TP's point, looking to contest this for Macho now that he doesn't have form. Probably going to get enabled by his team and look for a Blossom around this corner.
We'll see how that works out. Gotta get that Kiriko out of the fight before you pop that Blossom, as we see them pushing in, falling low. We see Railgun finds the double kill. Both supports out of the fight. The Blossom is free to use, and the damage comes in. Bluerose saying those map scores don't matter to us. Takes Lijiang Tower 2-0.
Yeah, a convincing performance from Bluerose. Once they got their footing on each sub-map, they pretty much held their own and held at the point the rest of the time. Those compositional swaps from Fuchsia specifically on the Cass and the Sojourn to figure out what they need for those specific comps look quite good. And listen, I love a good Sojourn play of the game. I'm a hit scan player. I live for that.
I truly wish that I was that accurate with anything. But that is why I play tank. Big shield, big bullets, that's all I need to do. But as we can see, Bluerose already starting off on the right foot tonight, taking it 1-0 right now. Nightwings now will be able to select our next map headed into Hybrid. And based on record, Laser, I think I already know where we're going.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Nightwings are going to prefer the map where they're 3-1 on, and the fact that they haven't played a single map of Hybrid outside of that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to Kings Row.
Yeah, I would say, and honestly, that's a pretty standard pick across the board anyway, is to go to Kings Row. We are going to be seeing the Zarya and Mei come back into rotation, so that is going to help things out with the way that teams are planning and playing, but that means 2 more bans are on the table. I'm going to guess, at seeing as Nightwings, I believe, have first ban pick, they are probably going to take that Sojourn off the table. That was just a little too much for them to deal with throughout Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, Gala on the Sojourn, finding so much value into the backline of Nightwings. And the issue is, even if you take Sojourn away, there's so many other good hit scan DPS on this map, especially Cassidy. Cassidy's a playground if we go to Kings Row. And personally, I prefer Sojourn on this map when I'm playing, but Cassidy is just as good, especially when you have a little bit more brawl. You get to deny the Zarya with the flashbang whenever Zarya's trying to walk up into your team. You get to flash the Tracer that Chamoran like to play. You get to mark the Pharah if Chamoran goes back onto the Pharah. Break walls for the opponent if they play Mei. I think there's a lot of utility that Cassidy gives that Sojourn doesn't. And it looks like we are going to Kings Row.
Yeah, can't say that I am surprised on that one.
Wait, let's see. Is I saw something on our back end, but it's not.
Nope. That everyone's wondering why I have smoke on my screen. That's just a pre-game incense. Usually it's burnt out by now, but I got home just before we got started, so. I promise my house is not burning down, and I'm casting through the smoking wreckage of my remaining home. I promise.
That's good to hear.
So,
yeah,
don't worry, everything's okay.
Burning down your house is not a good thing in general. But.
I mean, but it is spicy. It is hot right now when it comes to the match that we're looking at. As you can see, the map stats here right in front of you. A lot of flexibility here for the side of Bluerose. Have played quite a few different maps, but as you mentioned earlier, Kings Row seems to be the home of Nightwing, so they're very strong on it. They know what they're going to play out. I just question whether or not they want to pick that. I mean, we do have Neon Junction. If you really want to just kind of put a fresh start for both teams on the table, but I mean, Nightwings want to be able to bring it back at the half, and I think that's the way to go. And there it is, Nightwings locking in Kings Row.
Yeah, not surprising in the slightest. Ken, with that Zarya pick, is likely going to come out here now that the Mei is back on the table, but the Zarya ban is off of the table for Bluerose. I would not be surprised to see Ken walk out on the Zarya. It is good into Sigma. It's good into, it's not really good into Reinhardt, but the rest of your team can make up for that.
That is true. It's going to be intriguing to see how things shift. And it's, wow, Nightwings just immediately banned my guy on his map. How rude. I feel about that in my comp games too. Like, how do you ban Reinhardt on Kings Row?
You say, how did they do it? I feel like with joy and whimsy in their hearts, because they know that they get to play Zarya pretty much uncontested.
No, I know you're not wrong on that, but it pains me. Like, I at least go into every Kings Row game. I start off on Ryan because we've been what's the word? We've been brainwashed into thinking that that's the way that it is through Overwatch League and whatnot, and that's just the home of Brawl. So to see my man banned, that's a rough one. But Bluerose now has a free pick. They're gonna have their Sojourn. They're gonna have their Reaper that they used in the previous match, which I gotta be honest, gotta take out Zarya pretty quick once those bubbles are down. So we'll have to see what they decide to pick, and they're gonna eliminate a speed option by taking Juno out of the fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that because Cobalt showed up in the lobby. Cobalt was not there for map 1. They were not in the VC. And more than likely, Cobalt has been subbed in, and they know that Cobalt's preferred flex support of choice is the Juno. It enables the Zarya pretty well as a double flex option if you play Kiri Juno. And it also enables that speed. So now they have to play either speedless Zarya, which is not a great option, or they have to play with a Lucio, Cobalt on the Lucio.
We could see them go to the Mizuki. It takes a little bit to build up, but once you have your major perk, you can provide a little bit of speed that way as well. So there's lots of different options. They could go a little bit more bunkery as well, depending on if they're starting on the attack or defense. We do have some trades coming in. Tanny CB being swapped out for Tilted Waffle on the side of Nightwings. So we'll go ahead and see how that shakes out as we head into Kings Row here shortly. But folks at home, thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time here at Bad Pachimari League, we're so happy to have you. Be sure to hit that heart button, that bell, so you get notified every time that we're online. Matches are typically every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but sometimes we'll have other matches going on throughout the week. But as we get deeper and deeper into playoffs, those matches are going to dwindle. So if you want to get in on the action, you got to get in now. Otherwise, you'll be waiting until season 9.
And listen, these matches are the most important. They're the most electrifying that we've had all season. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I feel like the match I had against Amatori and uppers of A-League, like literally last week, 5-map reverse sweep, a couple really good maps. Like it's worth watching. It's a lot of fun. It's good content. So if you're interested, drop a follow.
Yeah, and we're absolutely in that stage where, ideally, we're not seeing a lot of 3 Overwatches anymore, right? Like, these teams have been fighting all season to kind of find that balance, and I think that this is kind of where that is. Because earlier in the playoffs, we've seen a lot of 3-0s, and that's pretty standard. You've got the top teams facing off against the bottom seeds usually, and those are very dichotomous in terms of skill level and practice and whatnot. But now we're at that nitty gritty. So I'm excited to see how things continue to shake out. We're just waiting for ready up from the teams. Cobalt going to be swapped in for Dust, it looks like, for Bluerose. So as you were mentioning, we'll see how that shakes out, getting what their options for speed and whatnot are for this particular map. But Laser, I gotta say, it's intriguing to see kind of how these teams are doing thus far. You know, Bluerose, a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, was able to pick it up relatively well going into the end of first map of Lijiang. But now it looks like Nightwings' turn to respond. So how do you think that they utilize that, especially starting off on the attack?
Yeah, I mean, Chim and Tanic B, both on the side of Nightwings, are both flex CPS players, at least by trade. Tanic B obviously preferring some of the flyer characters, Echo Farah, and also Mei, while Chamorin flexing over to the Freya, which is a more traditional hit scan role, but still can be played by flex DPS players because of the projectile nature of their primary and secondary. Ken on the Zarya as expected, and then Cobalt on Weaver. Interesting.
Very interesting balance. I do, as you saw at the beginning of the map, want to shout out, of course, our director and producer in our 6-observer team tonight, folks. We got cameras upon cameras upon cameras. As you can see us rotating through all these positions, we're going to try to get as much of the action as we can. As we see Domination choosing to come out on the Hog to start things off. And with that made a block, you do not want to be the first one hooked.
No, and listen, if you get hooked in on this comp, you can kind of expect your Zarya to save you, but that doesn't save you from the rest of the follow-up damage, not just from the Hog, but from the rest of the team. And Pen is in a precarious spot.
Unfortunate positioning, wasn't able to get up and wasn't able to secondary fire jump over there. It's just that particular spot's a little too high just to be able to jump over normally. As we see Domination falling incredibly low, gets chained up, but the Mei wall saves them for now.
And Sanity on this back high ground, potentially looking to go in after collecting that mega health pack. And Domination pretty low on healing resource in these pre-fights. Misses a hook that could be crucial given that you can now walk in, but Fuchsia finds a pick.
Early pick there from Fuchsia as we see Tanic B going into the back line. A triple kill coming in for Bluerose as they clean up the field. Not a worry in the world. Notken doing everything they can to get away and using the bus for cover as they're healed from spawns.
Chamorin with this ult pretty early, but Best Beans has that Mizuki ult that we were just talking about how long it takes to build. Best Beans has found a way to build it in the first fight and a half.
Well, I mean, when you got a Hog there, that's a pretty big target. Beautiful way to start things off. Gets the Suzu off of the table as we see the hook shot coming in early. Kitsune rush, utilizing them to be able to get around a little quicker. The Mizuki getting taken out of position. Beautiful Suzu in return. The whole Hog comes out, pushes everybody away from the Graviton Surge. The Kenkai Sanctuary unleashed, I believe, from both sides to try to hold everything together, but there's the Blizzard. There's only so much that you can do to the Cold Queen, but it is not enough. Notken blazing through with that 100 laser, taking out Bob just for fun, and that's Objective Alpha claimed.
You know, I haven't heard that many voice lines since I played Marvel Rivals. That was a 7 ultimate fight, and Bluerose popped 5 ults. And Chamorin's almost back, 8 ultimate fight. Chamorin's almost back to Ebola already because of that kill streak bonus on Freya.
Yep.
And Nightwing's sitting pretty now with that ult bang compared to Bluerose, who looked like they just had walked out of spawn for the first time.
Yeah, I'd seen that clip on YouTube of someone that was playing 6v6, started the fight with Ebola, 10 seconds later, 6 teammates killed, and has Ebola again. It is truly crazy.
Big Blossom, big Blue!
Blossom finds one, but an icicle to the face finishes that off. It is 4v4 right now as the wall does separate out the teams, but it looks like they are pulling back. Fuchsia getting taken out of the fight early, and that payload's just going to keep making its way down the street.
I mean, once you've lost your tank, you're a little bit lost in that fight because Street Space is so brawl heavy. You're not able to walk together without that massive HP known as Roadhog. And unfortunately for Bluerose, now Nightwings are able to combo their Bola and grab even if they don't have Suzu because they haven't built another Mizuki ult.
That is true. Both Mizuki ults are pretty close to one another. Kitsune Rush now ready for Starry Night, opting to go ahead and utilize it early as they try to push in. Graviton Surges there, able to clean up with the Bola. And there it is, pushing right on in, not a worry in the world. And that's Objective Bravo, bringing them to above 4 minutes on the clock.
And I want you to note the choice of perk on Ken. He has picked jump ups over Spotter as his minor perk. That means he can get onto these high grounds and potentially control some avenues that Bluerose would like to have for Fuchsia. And that might be crucial in these fights. We'll see if they decide to use them, but Cobalt gets hooked in, bubble, but no help in the world to get him out of that.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we weren't backed up enough, but I think there was a wall there that prevented them from getting out. So unfortunately not able to be saved, but that's okay. 3:30 on the clock right now as the Nightwings reset for another fight.
Yeah, and crucially, Ken did get out with charge on the Zarya, so they will enter this fight not having to use a ton of resources to get back up to that 100 charge, so desperately wanted by these Zaryas. But Bluerose opening with a Blizzard pretty early. This is a really aggressive play. You have both bubbles.
Ken gets dragged right into it. Kitsune Rush comes out into the Kenkai Sanctuary. Not going to be able to find any picks just yet as Domination is looking to try to get that hook off. Cobalt does get taken down by Foliages, and that's going to end it once again. 30 seconds down. Oh, so close, but so far away.
Yeah, again, I just want to note that Bluerose used 3 ults to Nightwings 1, and even though Jamoran is now swapped off of the, 3 ults to 2 because the Bola did come out, but Jamoran swapping over to the Sojourn and Gala onto the Widowmaker. He was playing some Valorant, but he's trying to pick up.
What a shot. What an early shot there from Fuchsia, not having Cobalt in the fight. Thankfully, not the support ult that they had on the table anyway, so that kind of works out for them. That's 4v5. They're going to wait it out. They're going to see if Titanic B not going to find value against Best Beans, unfortunately. And there goes the Sojourn to Nightwing, struggling to find flight here on Objective Charlie.
And now that you're on this third point, Gala can kind of just reign free on the Widow. That's why Chamorro has swapped over to the Sojourn, a better contest with that rail burst damage. And Cobalt struggling to get into an avenue of safety in this open third streets phase, but now we're looking for a potential grab out of Ken if Starry Night doesn't go down first.
And that's the ultimate you needed. That was the Kitsune Rush. The Blossom is here, ready to go, but not like Fusion. The cleanup is just too much right now. They can't find the shots. They're cleaning up, painting the town purple right now as we head to a minute remaining on the clock.
Gala doing everything for their team to hold on third. And now that Bluerose has gotten 2 basically free fight wins, everyone's ult are now reaching a climax. And look out again. Oh no!
What? I'd be as close to the wall as possible with that. A minute now, now under a minute on the clock.
Oh no!
Comes out as well as we see the Blizzard unleash the whole hog, unleash the Blossom. Does get unleashed and finds the triple kill. Looking for the follow-up. Sure, it was smart to be inside the mini Blizzard of the Icicle. As we see Foliages trying to find a way out of here. I don't know if they will end up being successful in doing so. But once again, that damage, remember, it does 70 damage a second. Even if you're Reaper, you don't want to be standing in that.
No, that damage is not something you can joke around with. And that it's surprising how much damage that does, but just being in a small hallway gives you a pretty good, oh my good God, Gala.
Gala is indeed having a good old party here. Graviton Surge with the combination of the Disruptor shot. Able to find 2, but it is not enough. We see now Titanic B finally swapping over to the Genji to see if they can get towards the Widow, but no dice. 60.74 meters on objective Charlie for the Nightwings.
Yeah, I mean, if Nightwings really think about it, they can't be too mad given that they took a little while to get set up on first point, get through that first choke. But once you got through second, you saw that you have 4 minutes on the time bank. You're going to be a little bit disappointed with how much you left out for Bluerose to take. But it's kind of hard to avoid that Gala masterclass on Widow, picking a support pretty much every fight of third that they won. Like, I don't know if Bluerose won a fight without Gala picking someone off first in pre-fight.
That's absolutely true. I mean, Gala was just was completely uncontested. And I think the thing that was really shaking Nightwings is that they couldn't tell fast enough where they were coming from, right? We saw the constant repositioning of Gala. They were either on the Mega, above the Mega, to the right of it, just these narrow sight lines. But as soon as a head popped through with a bubble, like a bubble, just unfortunate for them. We're going to see Gala come out on that Widow once again for the attack. Nightwings not really changing much up. Cobalt opting for the Life Weaver. Instead, Starry Night also going for the Ana.
Yeah, this is a pocket pick of Cobalt. Pretty known for the Weaver, the Juno, and a little bit of the Wu Yang in B-League. And Gala not only going for the spawn shot. Oh, no. Oh. Should have come out. Everything is gone.
Domination is like, I either hit, oh shit, twice in a row, thankfully still alive, but it was an unfortunate place to be, as we see the hook shot on the Ken, not able to finish it up just yet, as we do see Chamorin and Fuchsia traded. Fuchsia now swapping over to the
Nade on backline, gets cleansed immediately.
The Freya. Interesting choice here. Hoping that damage works out the same way that it did for Chamorin during the attack. They do have control of the objective. No hook on Bubble. As
Bubble's coming up on tree here. This might be a mid-fight tree, but no, can he go down first?
Ooh. Shot right between the eyes with that icicle. As we see, no! The take aim takes Starry Night out of the sky, and that's going to be it. 5 minutes on the clock as they grab Objective Alpha and make their way through the streets, just cleaning up the rest of Nightwing.
Gala is doing everything. Obviously, Dom's hooks have enabled a lot of their team to find picks. Foliage finding the revenge kill onto Chamorin for their fallen Gala, but now Bluerose, their comp might struggle a little bit on these streets phase because the Zarya Reaper Soge with the amount of healing that the Weaver and the Ana puts out is so crucial. You can force out Suzus. You can't go up there. You are a little bit too heavy for that, Dom. As you can force out Suzus with these engages, then your Ana can look for nades, but no, the hooking again.
I'm sorry, Ken. Like I know you might not be a player of the Orisa, but right now I feel like there has to be an answer for the absolute domination of domination right now. Like every 6 seconds, this hook just brings someone in to get absolutely annihilated.
Yep, almost 100% hook accuracy on this attacking round, and every time they get hooked in, it's a pretty clean follow-up from Foliage with the wall, burning down the Zarya bubbles, looking for the grip to get forced out, and then walking on the tank afterwards. And Nightwings don't have a touch, and they don't have answers.
5:30 on the clock, 60 meters remaining. It could be a very boring second half of this, as we see Chamorin able to get the pick onto Foliage, but that payload's Ore, and Cobalt either had to choose the Piggy Pistol or had to choose Death Below. Chose the Piggy Pistol, gets traded, but there it is, the cleanup. Nightwings stabilized finally after 5 minutes.
And listen, Chamorin took a bullet for his friend, and hey, listen, their friends are following up, and Tanuki finds two in the backline, but you had to use an ult to stabilize in a fight where Bluerose used nothing. That's your main offensive ultimate that catch them by surprise. because you can sustain through OC pretty easily with wall, with block, with this rush, Mizuki Sanctuary coming up. Like, all these things you can sustain through, and you don't have that blossom for the surprise factor anymore.
We go ahead and see.
Oh, Champ, you should be dead. You should.
Behind.
Okay.
That goes Ed. Nano's the Reaper, looking to see if we can make some pulled pork here, but no, Domination's in pulled, and you pulled, and you're getting a fist to the face. Able to hold on for now as the blizzard comes out. Beautiful tree, but it's like sound barrier. It's just not enough healing, and Nightwings are getting walked down right now. Bluerose is blossoming as 1-0. The EMP spawns, and Bluerose takes it 2-0 in the half.
Yeah, that was not particularly close.
No, it was not.
Again, I feel like this is a theme throughout this entire match. Every sub point, every map so far. Bluerose has struggled in the beginning. They have made a compositional swap or an adjustment to playstyle, and then they just rolled the rest of the map.
Yeah. I mean, it's an unfortunate position to be in, right? Like, it wasn't even so much that as Roadhog, Domination was taking space, right? All you have to do is shoot. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. You send out the hook, whoever you grab, rotate, bring them behind you so that it is 1-on-5 immediately. And then that's it. There was no way for Lifeweaver to be close enough to be able to pull them out. And you definitely wouldn't have been able to be consistent with that anyways, because that's a 20-second cooldown compared to the 6-second hooks. That's 1 for every 3 hooks. I would have loved to have seen something change for Nightwings, but I think Bluerose has got it figured out, and it's going to take some halftime for the Nightwings to really lock down how they're going to change it, because it's either win or go home.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to put up a fight, but it's not working so far. I feel like they need to take this break, readjust, reset, potentially look at some other options for compositions and playstyles to counter out this Domination Roadhog and the disaster that is the natural disaster that is Gala on Hitscan right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, folks, we're going to head to a quick 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Bad Pachimari League playoffs in just a few moments. Welcome back, guys, gals, non-binary pals, as we head into the second half of tonight's B League matchup between Bluerose and Nightwings. Domination and Gala trying to clip the wings of this majestic team. But do they have it in them to bring it back? As we head into the next round, I'm Captain Jack. This is Laser, back for the second half. Laser, give them a little bit of a recap. Tell them what we're looking forward to in the next round.
Yeah, so on Control, Nightwings did not have map selection, so they got sent to Lijiang Tower and banned out the Mei. In response, Bluerose banned out the Zarya. Close first map. Nightwings took control early, and Bluerose made a couple compositional adjustments, managed to claw it back and finish out strong and win the first submap. Same story on the second submap on Night Market. And that trend continued into King's Row, where Bluerose held up for a little bit on first point, got steamrolled through second, and then Gala and Domination teamed up for a brilliant 4.5-minute third point hold. On their attack, they took a little bit to get settled on the first point, taking about a minute to get through. And then once they were in, it was all planes go. Like, they just shot straight through the streets. I think it was 1 or 2 fights total in streets, and then once they took out a couple of the ultimates from the Nightwings, they were able to cap third point without any real issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna note it as Domination's yoink and bonk maneuver. Just yoink them in, and then the team just hammers them to death, and then that's the game. When that cooldowns every 6 seconds, there's not much else that you could do about it. And Nightwings just did not have an answer to it. Going for the Mizuki ban as we head into Colosseo. I have to say, that's an interesting choice. A lot of players, for some reason, hate this map. I love it, personally. It's my favorite of the push maps. But I'm a little surprised to see us go into it. And the Mizuki ban. I could have swore we would have saw the Roadhog come in here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see a Roadhog ban, given that Bluerose can now protect it for the rest of the series. After this map, this is your last chance to ban a hog out. But I don't know. I feel like Nightwings picking Colosseo may be a bit of a change up for Bluerose. I don't have the match stats on my screen right now. If we can maybe get those on. Yeah, I was about to say, if we can get those on main broadcast.
I mean, it's not much different looking at the match stats. 1-1 for Bluerose, 1-2 for Nightwing. But looking over the plethora of maps, I mean, they look pretty balanced for the most part. You see Nightwings is a little stronger on Runasapi, but otherwise, I'd say it's pretty balanced for both of these teams. So, going to Colosseo, like you said, maybe it's just trying to shake some things up. Maybe they're hoping to find some success here where they have not been able to so far.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a valid strategy. If you're a little bit rattled, a little bit out of your comfort zone already, where you're 0-2 down, season on the line, need a reverse sweep with the opponent getting map pick and ban, like first ban, for the next 2 maps. Even if you win this one, it's a little bit of a scary situation. So I feel like banning Mizuki, potentially getting your DPS a little bit more of a vantage point on the fights, making sure that Sanctuary doesn't come out and nullify ultimates. Interesting that Bluerose would ban Mei on this map, considering that is now the second time that Mei has been banned this series by a different team.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen it in the playoffs too, where the same hero gets banned twice.
Okay. I have a feeling I know why. Based on the substitutes, Foliage is going out, and that is their Mei player. And Chamoran and Tanaki both play Mei, so that could be something to enable the tank on the side of Nightwings if they were to play that Zarya comp. And because Bluerose has Inari being subbed in, if you don't know, for the new viewers, BPL has mandatory playtime. So if you haven't played one of your players by map 3 or match point, in this case, then you have to sub them in for this map, meaning that Inari is coming in, and this is the time for them to ban out the Mei.
Yeah, I mean, you take them out of the fight when your player's not in, gives you a little bit of an advantage. I was thinking that it was more so just to make sure that Nightwings didn't decide to follow up on a similar strategy, going for that deep freeze major perk, and then just keep hog frozen the whole time. That's definitely an option. The one thing that I was thinking about as we were speaking, though, is a lot of long sightlines in Coliseum. A decent high ground potential. And Gala was, for a better word, chopping off some heads. So
I mean, the issue with push is that you can't avoid those long sidelines. It doesn't matter what map you go. It's just you're delaying it maybe by, if you go New Queen Street, then the long sightlines are only whenever you get around that first corner. Runasapi, you have a lot of long sightlines where you can off angle on those hit scan DPS, and it's just as scary. Push is just one of those modes that you can't avoid it. You can just delay it, maybe get it off, push it off into a later fight, but you can never truly escape it.
Well, as we head into Coliseum, folks, go ahead, blow up the chat. According to Ghost, has saying reverse sweep starts now. And you know what? I'm all for it. I love seeing some beep beep reverse sweeps coming in. But Nightwings gotta take flight now. As we see the choices coming in. Remember, Mei and Mizuki banned for this round. Domination potentially opting for the Doomfist, as not Ken coming out with the captain of gravity himself, Sigma.
No, Dom's swapping back over to Hog. Nothing ever happens. The Dom is back on Hog. And on the cat as well, potentially attacks you around this Hog, and to dive the vulnerable backline on the Juno.
This is like the Rialto play.
Oh no!
Oh, Starry Night, indeed. They are just up.
Yeah.
Hog jumps down, gets the hook, evacuated.
This character is something else.
Like AC-130 is bad enough, but pulled pork in the sky, that's a sandwich that is a made to order for sure, as we are already seeing Bluerose making their way around this rotation. Best Beans already in the back end. Was looking to boop off him, but then immediately gets hooked back up by Domination. So not sure what they were looking for there, but that bot's moving forward as Nari gets taken out. Good start there for the Nightwings as they look to regain control.
Yeah, the issue with Coliseum is that because you have this cat now, everyone on Bluerose has vertical mobility, and you just have to pray that you trade backlines, because he will find a hook onto your backline before you get onto theirs.
I think the only thing that is really beneficial here is that Ken's positioning on the objective is allowing them to control more space on the point, which I think is really great for them. Being able to hold onto that bot like that at the end of the day is the objective, right? This ain't team deathmatch. The goal is to get that bot a moving. But right now it looks like Domination gonna go ahead and regain control of the bot for the moment. And Nari taken out once again, probably just a little cold because they haven't gotten to play it just yet. Domination able to find the hook in onto Starry Night, but gets held on to Gravitic Flux. Bring them down. And that's a flattened pig if I ever seen one. Ken and the rest of the Nightwings are cooking now as they take the lead.
Yeah, now they're in a bit of a more comfortable spot now that they've got that bot around the close quarters environment of that first objective. Once they get up to butt scratch, up to this first checkpoint, this spot is pretty good for Sig. You have some of those long sightlines, and Hog missing a hook, gonna try to push Tilted Waffle off the map. And I say off the map, but the Sig goes too.
Yeah, honestly, probably didn't need the catnapper to start, because Whole Hog does last quite a bit and outlast not only Sig, but Sig's grasp, but his shield. So 2 ults to regain control of the bot, not a bad choice, but maybe could have been better planned. And Starry Night having to use Suzu to get out of there because they forget about the pig in the sky.
Yusha finds his early first pick on the Tilted, and Starry's in a bit of a trouble, but good rock from Ken to bail them out. They would have gotten hooked there. Cobalt getting hooked in one shot.
Oh, and there's the follow-up on the Starry Night and Jamoran. That is unfortunate. Domination is living up to their namesake. The hook gets canceled, but it's too little too late. 15% and climbing right now as they make their way to the butt scratch.
Yeah, and they're gonna pretty much get this without contest unless Shimoran wants to.
No, immediately pulled back.
Ken went for the touch but got pulled back, and Shimoran, thinking that their tank had it, was not gonna go.
Well, they made their way onto the high ground.
Oh.
Gala able to find the shot onto Tilted, looking for the follow-up if at all possible, but just not able to. Very close there. Chamorin getting taken out in the final moments, and the cleanup is there. Bluerose is starting to lay the pedals of victory down before their feet. 80 meters and climbing as they make their way into the final turn.
Yeah, now they're looking comfortable. I said Nightwings were in a comfort spot here, but not anymore. And the Bluerose were able to find some picks, and Best Fiends looking for a catnap early. Looking for potentially the Kiriko or the Juno. Or maybe the Cass? Now they reveal themselves. Yeah, interesting. I would have thought that they would go for that, but Chamoran looking for a pick early. The Juno ray gets popped. Hold that! And now Ken is going to drag off the map.
Misses the rock. Takes the SIG off the... Well, didn't even take the SIG off the map. Gala ended up getting the kill instead. A little bit of claws there for Juno. Didn't learn cat fast enough. Team kill. Rings loud and proud. And the Nightwings... They're floating. They're stalling. They're about
Let's
to
cat back.
finish. AC 130 above. Will it be enough?
Oh
no. What?
No, the bug happened. Sorry. The EU player is on ping, so it's going to disconnect them from the cat every once in a while.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I hope that that's not kind of the main issue we're seeing here. As we see, AC 130 takes Best Fiends out of the fight, looking for the follow-up if at all possible. There it is. Domination able to take out Starry Night yet again. The follow-up on to Chamoran, but it's not going to be enough just yet. And here it comes.
Oh, they're just going to flip this fight.
One Fuchsia for the second. The Cobalt able to use those vibes. Take them out of the fight. Now it's 1v1. It is Cat versus Sojourn, and that railgun is a lot as we see Bluerose retake control.
I can't believe they invested ult and flipped that fight, and I thought that fight was just gone. Like I thought it was dead in the water. And then Inari popped Spree, didn't found two, and then got traded out immediately. They were able to just keep that bot from pushing back towards center.
Missed the hook. The whole hawk comes out as Tilted Waffle goes into turn the final shot. Best Fiend testing Adam to get it down. The hook misses once again. Not Ken sending out the Gravitic Flux, able to find one, but it's not gonna be enough to hold, as I don't believe Starry Night realized that Tilted Waffle was still down there, ends up leaving them be to get scrapped.
Yeah, Nightwing's kind of out of answers still. You have the Bastion ult. You have Ken swapping it over to the Mauga.
There we go.
But you're in a bit of a troubling state. Starry Night gets their Susan Force early, 1 HP. Domination does get traded.
There we go. Bringing out Maui himself. Mauga in the fight. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Tilted Waffle does get taken out by the disruption order of Gala. That overclock turning on. Looking for those shots. Haven't found one just yet. And it's gonna get wiped.
Maybe Gala hitting a little bit of a PGE slide, potentially feeling themselves a little bit too much there. Popping the OC, and but Best Fiends finds Tilted? How did they find?
Just zoom
where
in on
is the rest of Nightwings? Did they just abandon the Bastion?
It's Cyrilie in the chat saying I can save Bluerose, I can't save Nightwings. And I don't believe that. The cat is due to the Kitsune rush. So we see the double kill come in, not Ken. Still fighting strong for the moment.
Not
Hog versus Mauga. And that's going to be the shutdown there. We're under the 2-minute mark. I truly don't know what else Nightwings can do here. It's a struggle.
Yeah, once you've had this bot pushed up so far into your spawn, it's hard to get it out. because you have to win 2 fights in a row just to get it back to 0.
Yeah, that is true. Coming up on a spree once again for Inari. High ground hook. Hits the hook. I thought we were going to see the whole hog come out there, but not yet. There it is, whole hog being unleashed. The catnap ready and raring to go. We also got cage fight. I'm a little surprised that we see it used here. So we see the cleanup coming in, quad kill. But I gotta say, when I know there's a cat on the field, that's a free cat right now, unless you can kill it before you get over the edge.
Yeah, Ken has to realize that now they are completely vulnerable, and I mean, Cobalt can maybe get them if they're going off the map, but I feel like the cat is just going to kidnap them into the enemy team.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do for your tank if they get kidnapped into the team. They could also potentially cancel Bastional with this cat. No, they didn't go for it.
Nah, artillery threat comes in, spree comes in, finds tilted waffle in the final moments. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Catnap comes in, doesn't find what they're looking for, but Ken still gets taken out. The flicks coming out from the bestest beans. Finds Chamoran, but Cobalt able to return a little bit of what the cats would call tactical crouching on that pick there. But it's overtime now. I'm holding out hope for Nightwings. I think that they can do it. Blow it up in the chat.
They have everything to do and not a lot of ults to do it, and that's one more and less. Oh no!
The Suzu got the catnap immediately shredded as we see the override protocol matched with the overclock. Is it going to be enough? Story Knight finds it with the Kitsune Rush. Investment of ultimates is popping off hard as Bluerose locking in their spot for the lower semifinals. Congratulations to Bluerose.
Yeah, Bluerose with a dominant series win. Nightwings just couldn't find the answer for this hog comp. Domination was just able to find value on every single map, canceling Barrage in map 1, saving their team from that. In map 2, finding those picks, canceled Deadeye, and also just finding picks after picks after pick in these fights. I don't know how he's finding this much value on that character, because I actually said in pre map 1 when they swapped over to Hog, I said that he would have to convince me that this character is a good pick. And you know what? I've been convinced. I've been inspired.
Have you been fully convinced at this point?
Yes, I have been inspired. I'm gonna go run down ranked games playing Hog for the next hour and a half.
Yep, not gonna happen for me. I do not have the capability. I mean, I'm pretty good on hooks, but I take advice from my friend Dor way back in the day that Hog just not viable. But I mean, as we see here, very viable for Bluerose versus Nightwings tonight. We're gonna be seeing if we can get an exit interview from the folks here at Nightwings tonight. But Laser, it's not without love, right? Nightwings did everything they could on the table available to them, but just not able to find consistency. Like, they were able to take a fight or two here or there, but man, that Hog hooking you in and letting the team delete you, like, that was not being able to stop. That was the biggest issue they had all night.
And yeah, I mean, and unfortunately for them, that big issue that they weren't able to resolve was the arrow into the Achilles of Nightwings, because I think if you're able to have a couple small issues that you can't get resolved, and potentially just play through them, play characters that are easier to play into those, it's definitely a lot easier to figure out a solution for that than it is something for the enemy is just playing Roadhog and they find a pick every fight. Oh, Gallo's on Widowmaker and he's killing one of our supports before the fight starts. Yeah. Well, what do you do?
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing play that I don't typically see, at least in my ranked matches, when you see a Roadhog on the other side, right? Like, typically what you see is the Hog gets double pocketed, so they're basically immortal, and that's what keeps them in the fight. But no, Hog was able to make space by getting those early out of positions. I mean, we saw it multiple times around. So we got MVP coming up next. Let's see what the team ended up choosing. I put in my vote, and there it is. The piggy boy themselves, Domination, locking in that MVP slot. I mean, those hooks, they were so powerful. Like, it's so much to not get into the mindset of you being the one-man wrecking crew when you're on tank. And Domination threads that line so well, being able to make space on tank while being a more damage-oriented tank, but utilizing your team in conjunction with your abilities instead of making them have to essentially save you over and over again from the work that you do.
Yeah, and I mean, something I want to highlight as well, we were just talking about how survivable Hog is and how well Domination positioned himself in order to survive in these team fights without pulling too much of his support's care. I think one of the important ones that I noticed was Dom picked the minor perk that allows him to get over health whenever you pull an enemy based on how far you hook them. He was going for some of those max range hooks, which means he was getting 300 plus HP in over health a fight. And that could be the difference between living and dying or potentially forcing a Suzu and not, which means that the opponent doesn't get to walk on you for free.
Yeah, absolutely true. Congratulations, Domination. As we're waiting to hear back from Nightwings. Laser, tell me a little bit, like, what were your key moments tonight? Like, the one that springs to mind for me is the double hook on Reaper on Bluerose attack. Like, gets hooked, bubbled, wraiths out, goes around the Alderworth, gets hooked through the Alderworth again, and pulled right back in, as if they were like, oh, the pig just disappeared, right? No issue whatsoever.
No, he's
and then, I mean, of course, you got to give some love as an honorable mention to Gala. Like, that third point hold, 4.5 minutes with that Widowmaker, and just did not miss. When it counted.
Yeah, no, finding 1 to 2 picks on crucial targets to fight. It wasn't like they were looking for Ken on the Zarya. It's pretty easy to hit those headshots on the Zarya when you're playing a Widow, especially in a skilled lobby like this. And decided to go for the pre-fight picks on the harder to hit targets, mind you. Onto Mizuki, who has more mobility. Onto the Kiriko with that small hitbox and ways to get out of jail. But just able to find those picks after picks after picks.
All right, well, unfortunately, Nightwings will not be joining us for next interview. Nightwings, you poured your heart and soul out there, all right? We saw you doing everything that you could. It just wasn't your season, and that's okay. We'll see it hopefully next time around. You all might not be on the same teams, but you take the knowledge with you, you grow, you learn, and that's what BPL is all about, and you'll be able to ascend ranks next time. So Sunday's matches, we got a big block coming up tomorrow, 7 p.m. Taking in the A League, Odin versus Black Crown, 8 p.m. Coming back to the B League for the other side of our current bracket, Slime City Monarchs versus Hongsa. The winner of this will face off against Bluerose in the lower semifinals. Elvis Soul Knife and Freefall also playing their way through the upper finals in C League, and Yadagarasu versus Pachisuba in the lower round 2 finishes out our night at 9:30. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Thank you so much, Laser, for coming in, filling in last minute. It was absolutely amazing to work with you. Any shout outs, anything that you want to say before we wrap up for the evening?
Not really. I mean, just shout out Nightwings. You guys had a hell of a season. I saw the kickoff win. Myself and Cobalt were literally together, like, in the same building, like, when it happened, so it was kind of cool to watch. And obviously I'm a little bit biased, but tune in tomorrow for some banger games. I'm on mainstream at 7, so I'll be back here just in a different capacity.
There we go. All right, from Laser, myself, and the rest of the team here at Bad Pachimari League, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night for more great Overwatch action.